we do have to, again, look at that balance. In addition, recently we've seen ports step up in terms of their role as leaders in environmental restoration, cleanup, habitat restoration efforts in local harbors. And we're well suited to do that because of our role as a port authority. Our location, too, being at the head of Puget Sound. Just because of our location, we are oftentimes the sources of pollution because they move downstream, end up in our harbors, and are collecting those sediments, as well as industries that were involved in the early days of our port activities. So we have been proud, like many Washington ports, to take a leadership role in cleaning up these contaminated sediments. We'll move over and talk a little bit about East Bay, which is one of the current activities. We're engaged with cleanup, and we're just wrapping up North Point, which I'll speak to as well, the former Cascade Cove treatment facilities, which has been over 20 years of effort to bring it back to an active and vibrant use. So with that, I'm going to step up, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me okay. But I wanted to go back to the long-range planning products and what it is, what's included in the port planning framework, starting with our strategic plan. And our plan was adopted in 1995. That followed a 2-year extensive process, which we worked closely with the City of Olympia on. And in our strategic plan, it includes our value statement, our mission statement, our goals and objectives. And I did refer to our mission of build, grow, move, and improve. And our role as a port, balancing the role of economic opportunity with environmental integration and economic development for our community. This is what was captured at the end of that 2-year planning process, which involved over 100 community meetings and involvement. And I'm just going to throw it up as a reference. So this was 1995. It was a 20-year plan for development of the Port Peninsula. Similarly, we have a planning document for our 1,600 acres of tumwater, but I'm naturally focusing on the Olympia properties. Not depicted was also the West Bay portion, which we sold to the city just a few years ago, so I didn't incorporate that on this side of the harbor. Our plan also included, for planning purposes, the West Bay property. I thought it would be helpful to visualize 1996, 1 year into our long-range plans. And I have, and I don't know if you can see clearly, but this is the port in 1996, and I thought it would be helpful just to walk through and point out a few things that did not exist at that time. Through a collaborative effort with the City of Olympia, we moved forward with the Farmers Market as our anchor for the revitalization and creation of a buffer district to a working waterfront through the creation of the Farmers Market. You can see here that this was still a working cargo terminal in 1996. The road had not been completed, so as you drive now to the roundabout was underway, but this road connection was not in place. You can see there was no Swantown boatworks. We only had 2 sets of slips at our marina, and quite a bit of work to be done here at the northern tip of the peninsula, and very difficult to access. This road came in, at that time, configured. Here's the old Portside Cafe and a number of other developments that are no longer in existence. So it was a very different port in 1996 than it is today.
When were the cranes put in?
That was in 1997. Thank you for calling that out. 1 year later. What also might be helpful, and I didn't put it together, but I can try to get that for Wednesday, is to give you kind of a sequence of implementing elements of this 20-year plan year by year, because there really has been, it doesn't specify Olympia versus tumwater, but it does identify a number of key initiatives and activities that the port has fulfilled from that original long-range plan over the years. Also within our comprehensive scheme of harbor improvements, this document here, and we did refer to it as a comp plan. What we learned over the years is that was confusing because many people associate a comp plan with a GMA planning document, and as I mentioned, we're under a different set of planning rules by state law. But our intent was to work through that process, married up with the city's process, and And as you may be aware, we incorporated the city's plans into ours and vice versa so that we had consistency in how we were approaching our planning processes. We also embedded in those planning framework documents includes property descriptions, design guidelines. We also developed landscape and greenbelt guidelines, transportation network, and of course our stormwater management guidelines. This product came a little bit later, but I did want to show you as it relates to landscaping and trying to really incorporate some of the public amenities into our plans. This was, I think, a product that came together in the either the late 1990s or the early 2000 era. But here again, dealing with shoreline, we've identified from a landscaping and design perspective how to engage the community, but again, how to protect that shoreline property as we brought forward our plans, and to do it in a way that was unique to each of the districts that were developed. Going back to the 20-year plan, this was modeled after Granville Island. I can paste this up or set it aside for reference. We were looking at a number of different districts, and the idea was to build on the success of what Vancouver, BC had done with Granville Island, where they had a working maritime component as well as a farmer's market. Lots of great places for the public to come and meander through a mixed-use development area. So we did the creation of the Market District, the marina, which was initially East Bay Marina and renewed to Swantown, the North Point development, and East Bay, all centered around the working waterfront cargo area. So this was adopted in 1995. We have made a number of amendments to that plan since its initial adoption, and it is on an annual basis revisited and updated and amended by the Port Commission. It's now taken the form of, at the policy level, a comprehensive scheme of harbor improvements, which is laying out our planning documents, and then the development guidelines, the comprehensive scheme, which then is reflected in our capital investment plan, and the development guidelines that also identifies development plans specifically by those areas, and those are posted on our website if you want to refer to those. And then administrative documents such as our landscaping and the other elements that I referenced. How did we do this? As mentioned, it was an extensive public process to develop the original long-range plan, and we have since been bringing all of our processes either on an ad hoc basis or district by district forward as we look to update or move forward with development. So what I'd like to do now is move to each of the districts, and I'm going to throw this up. So that was 1996. This is the current districts that I'm going to refer to. I'm not really going to speak to the terminal today or to West Bay since that has been shifted over, but I will touch on our East Bay properties, our Market District, Swantown, Marina and Boatworks, and North Point. And I also wanted to just reference, this is very difficult to see, but we will have a copy of this in the packet, so when you walk around you can see the updated planning schematic of each of the districts and what's included, what's been approved, and I'll touch on some of those as we walk through the information here tonight. So before I jump into the specific districts, I also wanted to just touch on a couple of things. When we look at shorelines for the